Hi, Matt. Hi. I hope you're doing well yourself. I find it very strange to be going live when, well, I don't even know if Matt is in the room, but I have to. I have to post this video because I am really, really, really upset about what has taken place in our world, and it is not good at all. It's not good at all. Let me put this up a little. Um, I I don't know what to do. My resources are flat gone. The only thing that I have is this, my voice, and so often today did I feel like I was just going to burst into tears. It is really remarkable. And I was thinking about why are we seeing so many horrific atrocities, especially on Twitter. Twitter is just video after video after video of these atrocities taking place in Gaza, in the West Bank, and there are other atrocities going on all over the world. But it's so blatant. Why? Why is this happening when we are seeing so much blood, gore committed against a people that literally have nothing? And then we see these videos of the IDF soldiers that they're TikToking, and then it's reposted on Twitter, of they laughing at the cruelty, brutality that they themselves are committing. Why is this going on? And I have to say, considering that hardly anything is being censored, why is this happening? And for sure, it is turning the world against Israelis. Now, the world should turn against the Zionists, the government, and the IDF, not the innocent Israelis who actually are speaking up and want this over, want it done, end, ceasefire, calling for. You know what I think? It dawned on me that perhaps they are getting us used to this because it's coming to all of us. Maybe this is a way to prepare the world and to harden hearts. You get desensitized while you're watching atrocities being committed over and over and over again. Could they be desensitizing all of us to what's going to be happening in our own neighborhoods? So I have had this window open now for about 3 days. I haven't been able to go to it because it's just so upsetting. But of course, what do we see? Netanyahu, the war champion with the IDF. No one will stop us. Not The Hague, not the axis of evil. No one. Who's the axis of evil? One has to wonder. The axis of evil is US, UK, Israel. So, no one will stop us. The abject arrogance, the abject, no one will stop us. We will keep killing. We will keep destroying. We will keep it up. No one will stop us. Okay. Painful scenes from northern Gaza, which has been subjected to starvation for nearly 100 days as Israel continues to block food and water from entry, which is a qualification for genocide. Israel also has been targeting police, volunteers, and any entity trying to organize the distribution of aid. Don't think that this is not coming to all of us, where people, Americans, will be doing anything that they can to get their hands on food. And here, okay, this is a woman. Obviously, she doesn't have maternal instincts or what? Having fun in a children's room after it was destroyed.
פה? מה את עושה פה?
יש פה 5 כוכבים, עניינים, אבל מה זה?
מה את צריכה מקום לישון?
צריכה לישון פה.
הנה, יש לך כרית. זה המיטה של פתחי טיז. הנה, מביאים לנו אוכל. הנה, באו להביא לנו אוכל. פה?
So, those statements early on that we heard, making Gaza a parking lot. Guys, they didn't accept me at Tel Aviv University. The bloodthirsty ghouls are still recording their crimes. And I do want to say that they would not be doing this unless they got the orders to do it. Unless they all knew that this was okay to do.
באוניברסיטת תל אביב, הנה באתי ללמוד בעזה, אבל סגרו את המקום, המתחם נסגר. Welcome to the עזה, פינוי בינוי.
And Twitter is really, it is truly amazing. For me, and I haven't been on Twitter very long, but it has significantly changed in ways that it's, I don't even know, I don't have the words to describe what we are living, what we are seeing. And a whole lot of Twitter now has videos that just don't play. Just don't play. And I'm going to play this video here. Interview with 2 hostages that were released. And it paints a picture of Hamas that is the opposite of the propaganda that we hear from the Zionist government propaganda outlets. And I also wonder if that's not a staging, because Hamas was created and funded by Israel. Okay, the Zionist government. My God. So, when you think about the propaganda machines all over the world, and Israel, for sure, United States, for sure, and how, they pit one side against the other, Hamas, I'm not saying that the soldiers of Hamas know this, but the higher-ups as far as I'm concerned, they're working together with the higher-ups in the Zionist government and the IDF and the United States. What they are portraying is Hamas is pretty much the opposite of what they say Hamas is. And is it to confuse? Is it? I don't know. But something is very strange. Very strange. And I've said this before. I feel like, are we getting all of this information so that the world hates not only the Israelis and Jews, but Americans? Because, yeah, we are hand in hand, attached to the hip. Israeli, American weapons doing an awful lot of this destruction. We've got American Israelis. We've got British Israelis fighting with the IDF. So you can't separate out what the good old US of A is doing from what's happening in Israel. And the world has turned already against Israel, against the United States. Will we pay the price? I think we will.
אמרתי לנהג, אמרתי לו, just together, כאילו תשאיר אותנו רק ביחד. אמר לי, בטח, ובאמת נשארנו ביחד, באופן מפתיע. לא, הייתה לי איזו תמונה בראש, כאילו, שאני יושבת בתוך כלא, קשורה, גל וטל יחיו בעזה, כאילו זהו, הלכו החיים, כאילו, זהו, עברנו לגור פה.
חן אגם ושני הבנים הוחזקו ביחד בדירה בעזה במשך כ5 שבועות עם אותם שובים שחיו איתם 24 שעות ביממה.
הם היו מדברים איתנו גם לפעמים על גלעד שליט עם איזה חיוך כזה, מסתלבטים עלינו עם זה, ואני מוכרחה לומר שזה היו החרדות שלי, שאולי זה יארך עכשיו שנים הדבר הזה. הם עפו על עצמם, שגם כאיזושהי אמירה לנו שלמדינה לא היה אכפת, תראי 5 שנים עד שהחזירו אותו. המדינה לא כל כך אכפת ממכם, למדינה אכפת מהלחימה.
צריך לבקש אישור כדי ללכת לשירותים.
חמה, ואת הולכת.
או היינו מתהלכות לפעמים, והיינו מבקשות ללכת, לחילוץ עצמות, להניע את הגוף. הם היו אומרים לי, אם את הולכת לסלון, תגידי לי שאת הולכת.
One of the intriguing aspects of this interview is that the Palestinian soldiers maintained a tremendous sense of morality, which contrasts with the image Netanyahu wanted the world to see. He had described Palestinian freedom movements as terrorist, evil, and conscienceless, yet the manner and guidelines these soldiers of the oppressed adhered to are exceptional. It complicates the conflict and shifts away from the notion that it's simply a battle between good and evil.
והוא עושה איתך כושר.
כן, לפעמים פשוט היו יושבים ובואים בנו. לא היה מצב כמעט שאנחנו היינו לבד, היו שנים מאוד קרוב אלינו. כמו שאני ממש חששתי מהאפשרות שבואו לחלץ אותנו באיזה מבצע צבאי. אני ממש דאגתי מזה, כי אני חשבתי על זה, כי הם כל הזמן היו צמודים אלינו.
גם את עשית כושר.
כן, קצת.
מה המחבלים אמרו כשאת עשית כושר?
אמרו לי, בראבו, שזה חשוב מאוד שאני עושה את זה.
הם הצטרפו כאילו? הם גם עשו כושר?
לא.
אבל כן היו הורדות ידיים.
כן.
את ואני עשינו, ואז אני ניצחתי אותה. ובגלל שהגם כל הזמן עושה כושר, אמרו, רגע, אם חן ניצחה אותה, אז בוא נעשה איתה. ואז אחד מהם, הצעיר, עשה איתי הורדת ידיים, אבל הוא הביא מגבת, כדי לא... כי אסור לו לגעת בי.
אישה היא מאוד... אישה היא קדושה שם.
אישה היא מלכה. היו עושים לי שיחות איך לשמור על אגם. הסברנו להם שגם אצלנו לפעמים כן יש שלאגם יכול להיות חבר, או יכולים להיות לה כמה חברים לפני שהיא תתחתן. אני אפילו מעודדת את זה, שהיא תתנסה, שהיא תכיר, לפני שהיא אצלה מוסד הנישואים. אבל היינו מתאמתים על זה.
כן, גם אמרו לי, אנחנו מחתנים אותך בעזה. את בעזה, את מתחתנת. אנחנו נמצא לך גבר בעזה.
הם נתנו לה שם מאוד יפה. שם ערבי מאוד יפה.
סלסביל. זה מים, זה כתוב להם בקוראן, מים מתוקים כזה.
מתוקים.
עכשיו אמרתי לו שזה קטע, כי השם שלי בישראל זה אגם.
שני הבנים, גל בן ה-11 וטל בן ה-9, שלא ראו אור יום במשך תקופה ארוכה, הצליחו להתמודד עם השעמום הכבד.
הם ציירו, הם כתבו, הם השובים לימדו את המשחקים בקלפים.
The underlying message of this entire narrative suggests that the world, especially America and its allies, might deliberately avoid finding a lasting solution to the Palestine conflict to prevent the emergence of a two-state resolution. On one side, Israel is purportedly funding the destabilization of Gaza by creating ideological and political divisions among Palestinians across the strait. Meanwhile, America is allegedly deploying substantial political influence to dissuade other powers like Russia and China from contributing to the peace and stability of the Palestinian region. Consequently, this leads to ongoing tensions between freedom fighters and the occupation, often resulting in destabilization and hindering talks for a peaceful resolution to the crisis.
Well, that's what we're good at. Hindering peaceful resolutions. L78, it's very good to see you, for sure. So, we've heard from not just those two hostages. We see the kids jumping up and playing. The militants teaching the children games to play. They're allowed to exercise. They talk to the militants. It's what do you do with all of this? What do you do with all of this? But for sure, it's hell on earth here. This is what happens when you are taught all your life that Palestinians are animals. No depravity is low for the Zionists. And this guy is, very happy with the destruction that he's created. Oh, how macho. All right, so this happened in America, San Francisco, to be exact.
Spitting out lies and propaganda about babies being raped, knowing damn well that ain't true. But we do know that these rabbis are saying it's okay to rape Palestinians because we are less than human. It's a time and a place, 75 years of this going on, and you guys are still trying to, they're the victims. It's not the Jewish people, it's the Zionist scum that needs to be taken out.
A call for no ceasefire is a racist call. Any delay is an act of racism.
You guys are about the business of death, and so are all y'all over there on that side that are pro-Israel. You are pro-genocide. I am pro-life.
We don't need to be condemning Hamas because Hamas is not dropping the bombs. Hamas is not starving people. Hamas is not keeping water away.
I urge you to reject any amendments made by extremists and racists for increased violence, increased warfare, and a deeper genocide.
Don't be bullied into adding racist and biased language for those with a pro-genocide agenda.
Pass the resolution without these racist and pro-war amendments, or we will not support your re-election.
And do you realize how many more hostages we have in Israeli prisons who are not getting good treatment at all? Whereas we evidently are treating the hostages, we. From the river to the sea, viva! So, I cut her off only because, oh my God, I might get a community guideline strike. From the river to the sea is not a call for the extermination of Jews. Not. That's what they want everybody to believe, but it is not. Okay. So, but that woman before her, exactly right. I'm saying we. Well, it is also Americans. And this is, the abject suffering that they are causing is so, I don't know.
this is what an awful lot of Zionists believe and say, and it's not just the Jews. The evangelical Christians are Zionists as well.
I'm working day and night. If I take my telephone now, I can assure you that hundreds of Jewish families will move today, immediately, with the children, to the Gaza area. And they will not ask what are the conditions.
What should the 2.3 million Palestinians do? Where should they go?
To the world. The Palestinians that live in Gaza have no right to stay in Gaza. I'm working day and night.
The Palestinians who live in Gaza have no right to live in Gaza. They should just be dispersed all over the world. Okay. And yeah, belief, man, can cause an awful lot of problems. When you have these strong, adamant beliefs, they can take you down a road that is so evil that you have to wonder. We've got a lot of very deranged people in the world. And here's another one.
What do you expect? What do you want? What do you want? It's the University of Chicago, now what? You kill 12,000 babies. They didn't teach you that killing 12,000 babies.
It's pretty. It's a shame it's not more.
Oh, it's not a shame it's not more.
It's a shame it's
Oh, yeah? Oh, this is...
Professor at a Chicago University. Or a Chicago University graduate. I thought he was a professor, but yeah, you have... Wow.
This is gonna go everywhere then, you piece of garbage. University of Chicago graduate. He wishes it was more. He wishes it was more. Say it with balls. Say it. Say it.
You shouldn't have attacked.
Yeah, now say it.
You
yes.
shouldn't have attacked.
Yeah, how many kids do you want dead? Say it.
As
say
many
it.
as it'll take.
As many as it'll
You will never attack again.
Yes, yes, more.
Go public.
More.
Go
yes.
public.
Yes, go. Nice.
Go. You are a cancer to the world.
Good, yes.
Cancer
Let
to
it
the
out.
world.
Let it out. Yeah. Here we go. That's what we want to see.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
Don't hide that.
Never hide
yeah,
it.
never hide it.
Never hide
Show
it.
your evil.
Never hide
Show
it.
your evil.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Next time you come,
Good.
we'll slaughter you.
Oh, yeah. Do it. What do you expect? What do you want? What do you...
Wow. So... a lot of hatred in the world. A lot of hatred in the world. And that, you know, these people are talking about killing children. So it's what do you say when you hear something like this? When you see the abject rage of hatred come out of somebody, wanting an entire people to be dead, children included. That is deranged. So you gotta have to step back and realize, whoa, you're dealing with someone who is so deranged and so filled with hate that you can't have reasonable conversation about what is taking place with people like that. It's and that what I saw was a hate coming out of this guy so powerful. And that's why I've said, you know, the thing about hate is that I've said I don't hate anyone. Not even those who have contributed to my fabulous circumstance. It is, I would think that hate, true hate, genuine hate, is so powerful that it would consume, that it would literally consume a person's energy and efforts and thoughts. And I can't say that I've experienced that. I know that a lot of people use the word and just throw it around, but I think a whole lot of people use it, but they don't mean that they actually hate something. I don't know. I just think that it's a very powerful emotion that could actually, well, make somebody evil. Yeah, okay, well, I don't understand it. You know, it's... Alright, so this is Max Blumenthal. Palestinian refugees flee from Israeli terror tanks in the besieged Gaza Strip. And Palestinians are running this way and that way to try to save their lives. And a video shows IDF shooting unarmed, loitering West Bank Palestinians, killing one. There's an awful lot going on in the West Bank, and yeah, IDF first shot 29-year-old Nadir Ramawi, I don't know, I'm sorry, in the left leg. The others initially scattered when Nadir's 25-year-old brother, Mohammed, ran to aid his brother. He too was shot with a bullet hitting his hip. Next, Osid darts toward the victims and is shot fatally. The high school student was studying to be a barber. The video gets worse as Nadir stands up and tries to hop away on his one good leg. The IDF shot him in that leg too. It bears emphasis that Nadir wasn't brandishing any weapons, and this incident didn't take place in Gaza but the West Bank. Soldiers approached the downed Palestinians. A couple of minutes later, one prodded the dying Osid with his foot, and after hovering around the wounded, the soldiers leave without taking interest in the stack of boxes that the IDF spokesperson said were Molotov cocktails. And I'm not going to show this video. I have seen way too many of these videos. And you have to wonder, is in part to desensitize the world's people to seeing this, to just seeing this all over the place in our own neighborhoods. And here, blowing up a whole neighborhood for, hey, TikTok. Is it TikTok or some other social media platform?
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
So, yes, they could not do this without the approval of their higher-ups. So they're posting all of these videos showing how utterly they are psychopathic. They're out to kill, to destroy, and they are actually enjoying it. Why would they show the world in so many videos with so many IDF soldiers that they love killing? They love destroying. There's got to be a reason for it. We can only speculate, but... And, oh, yes, Secretary Anthony Blinken met with Netanyahu and reaffirmed the United States' support for Israel's right to prevent another October 7 from occurring. Well, guess what? Israel could have prevented October 7 from occurring, but Israel didn't. Why? So that's not, a secret, and awful lot of interviews about why did the IDF allow 7 hours of Hamas coming through the gates with bulldozers, hang gliders into a concert, into a rave festival. We're just sailing right into Israel? Really? Okay. I've gone over that too many times. Yeah, okay. So, we're going to prevent another October 7 from happening. When we see the obvious occurring, when the obvious is destroying people's lives who are innocent, that's what gets me very upset. Really very upset. The following countries have endorsed South Africa's Genocide Convention lawsuit against Israel: Malaysia, Turkey, Bolivia, Nicaragua, the Maldives, Venezuela, Namibia, Jordan, Morocco, Iran, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Well, are we going to see this? No. But Blinken slams South Africa's genocide case against Israel as meritless and galling? That's our leaders. The charge of genocide is meritless. Our Secretary of State, Blinken. Meritless? We see the merit every single day. So, in the same press conference, he admitted that the daily toll on civilians in Gaza, particularly children, well, it's far too high. So what number is low enough for you, Blinken? John Kirby last week said, initially, we find this submission meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis in fact whatsoever. We see the fact. We don't have to be experts in genocide to see that it's an obvious. There's not much that the court can enforce in terms of action, regardless. But a ruling against Israel would be a huge reputational black eye. Israel is giving itself a reputational black eye every day. The IDF soldiers are giving Israel a black eye every single day. So, you gotta wonder, man. I'm so done with all of the lying. Israel's foreign ministry issued a blistering rebuke in response, rejecting the filing with disgust, and called Pretoria's accusation a blood libel, essentially saying that the South African government's charge is being fueled by anti-Semitic. I'm tired of that too. Every criticism, it's anti-Semitic and you hate Jews. Done with it. Over it. I've lived that my entire life. Done with it. Everybody should be done with it. Everybody should be held to account for their conduct, how they operate in life, their behavior. I don't care what religion you are, what color of skin you have, what nationality, what ethnicity, what sex, it doesn't. You're being held to account. But of course, the United States is going to call it disgusting, and it's galling, and it's... Israel had also blasted Pretoria for sympathizing with terrorists who massacred civilians. Okay. Well, a whole lot of what Israel says took place on October 7 didn't take place. Didn't. The expressions of genocidal intent by Israeli officers, and Max Blumenthal, y'all know, is a Jew. Okay? So there's a lot of Jews, there's a lot of Israelis who are calling out the liars because they too have it in their core that it does not matter if you're a Jew, a Christian, black, white, doesn't matter. There's a moral core inside. Well, hopefully everybody, but clearly not everybody. It doesn't matter. So this, the expressions of genocidal intent, which is essential, it's one of the elements of proving genocide, the intent. Leaders since October 7 are so abundant, they seem unprecedented in recent history. They have essentially indicted themselves. Below is a comprehensive catalog of public statements by Israeli leaders, which emphasizes the overwhelming strength of South Africa's accusation of genocide against Israel. In this document, which IsraelQuotes.com, and I'm going to put the link to Max's tweet. Sorry, I can't call it X. Still Twitter to me. And so click on the link to his tweet and then click on Israeli Quotes. But in this document, you will find a single biblical term invoked by everyone, from Israel's prime minister to assorted leaders of the ascendant religious national camp, and many in the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, which signals Israel's real plans to eliminate the Palestinian population, Amalek. Well, it's not only that. I mean, we have heard blatant genocidal remarks coming out of members of the Zionist government in Israel, including the prime minister and the minister of defense. But I'm going to play some of this. All right, so this is South Africa's closing statement. And I will also link below. Of course, now I'm getting this back. Ad blockers violate YouTube's terms of service. I don't even have ad blockers. Allow YouTube ads. Let's see. Oh. Refresh page. Let's see. Oh my God.
The Israeli Defense
They allowed me. Wow. First time. It's funny how things work out when I'm live, but when I'm not live, they don't. All right, so I'm going to put the link in, and this was the first day. The hearing, and first day of the International Court of Justice hearings in South Africa's genocide case against Israel. Okay, in Gaza. What about West Bank? Okay, but
basis of the current figures, on average, 247 Palestinians are being killed and are at risk of being killed each day, many of them literally blown to pieces. They include 48 mothers each day, 2 every hour, and over 117 children each day, leading UNICEF to call Israel's actions a war on children. On current rates which show no sign of abating, each day, over 3 medics, 2 teachers, more than 1 United Nations employee, and more than 1 journalist will be killed, many while at work or in what appear to be targeted attacks on their family homes or where they are sheltering. The risk of famine will increase each day. Each day, an average of 629 people will be wounded, some multiple times over, as they move from place to place, desperately seeking sanctuary. Each day, over 10 Palestinian children will have one or both legs amputated, many without anesthetic. Each day, on current rates, an average of 3,900 Palestinian homes will be damaged or destroyed. More mass graves will be dug. More cemeteries will be bulldozed and bombed, and corpses violently exhumed, denying even the dead any dignity or peace. Each day, ambulances, hospitals, and medics will continue to be attacked and killed. The first responders who have spent 3 months without international assistance, trying to dig families out of the rubble with their bare hands, will continue to be targeted. On current figures, one will be killed almost every second day, sometimes in attacks launched against those attending the scene to rescue the wounded. Each day, yet more desperate people will be forced to relocate from where they are sheltering, or will be bombed in places where they have been told to evacuate to. Entire multi-generational families will be obliterated, and yet more Palestinian children will become WCNSF, Wounded Child, No Surviving Family.
Okay, Israel labels South Africa the legal arm of Hamas. They're saying anything and everything, and it doesn't matter, because that is what has manifested. Say whatever the hell you want to say. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be righteous. It doesn't have to be correct or factual. Just put out your insults. And unfortunately, the common people also operate the same way. Israel dismisses genocidal intent as random assertions. Random assertions. That's interesting. So, I am going to... here. I'll link below. This is 30 minutes. And she lays out the argument for genocidal intent. On genocidal intent. But, okay. Random assertions. The genocidal invocation to Amalek was anything but idle. Defense Minister Gallant said Israel was imposing a complete siege of Gaza. There would be no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. This is the defense minister. Genocidal intent, not a random assertion. Everything would be closed because Israel is fighting human animals. Speaking to troops on the Gaza border, he instructed them that he has released all the restraints and that Gaza won't return to what it was before. We will eliminate everything. We will reach all places, eliminate everything there, reach all places without any restraints. Genocidal intent. The intent to destroy Gaza has been nurtured at the highest levels of state. Another one. I quote the triumphant and finish them off and don't leave anyone behind. Erase the memory of them. Erase them, their families, mothers and children. These animals can no longer live. If you have an Arab neighbor, don't wait. Go to his home and shoot him. We want to invade, not like before. We want to enter and destroy what's in front of us and destroy houses. And that... This was a 95-year-old Israeli army reservist, a veteran of the Deir Yassin massacre against the Palestinians in 1948, as he was being driven around by an official in an Israeli army vehicle, wearing Israeli army fatigues, and it's all random. These are just random assertions. I think you need a stronger argument there, for sure. Bush passed a law known as the Hague Invasion Act, which says U.S. can invade the Netherlands to prevent American personnel from being charged with war crimes. This is from Abby Martin. I didn't know that. The Hague Invasion Act. How dare you try to charge us with war crimes? We will invade you. That's so typical of one of the three axes of evil. A group of South African lawyers have written to the U.S. President. This was January 9. A group of South African lawyers have written to the U.S. President warning his government that they intend instituting proceedings against them for being complicit in ongoing international crimes perpetrated by Israel against the people of Palestine. Let's see if that actually takes place. And the BBC, well, first listen to this unbelievable. Idiot BBC reporter asks Yemen official why they support Palestine because it's so far away from Yemen. I'm scratching my head.
ولكن ما علاقتكم أنتم بما يحدث هناك؟ يعني أنتم على بعد أميال وأميال، لديكم مشاكلكم الخاصة في الداخل اليمني، لديكم مشاكلكم مع التحالف الدولي الذي تقوده السعودية. يعني ما العلاقة مع هذا سوى أنكم يتم تحريككم لهذا الهدف؟
يعني أما بالنسبة لبايدن كان يعني هو جار نتنياهو يسكنون في شقة واحدة.
I'll read this. So Biden is Netanyahu's neighbor. They live in one apartment. They live close by.
والرئيس الفرنسي
The French president also lives in the same on the same floor.
أيضا يسكن في نفس الطابق، والرئيس الوزراء البريطاني يسكن في نفس العمارة. أم أن بينهم وبين الكيان المحتل آلاف الأميال؟ ما الذي أتى بهم إلى بلادنا العربية ليقتلوا أبنائنا؟
Oh shit, my mic wasn't on. I was reading what he was saying. I hope you got it. So the BBC reporter actually asked him, why are you supporting Palestinians? Because you're so far away in Yemen. Are you flippin' kidding me? And these people hold their jobs? So his response was, so Biden is Netanyahu's neighbor? They live in one apartment? What? The French president also lives on the same floor? What? British prime minister lives with them in the same building? You got to be that close? Or are they thousands of miles away from the occupying entity? What brings them to our Arab country? To kill our children, to seize our children, our brothers, and to kill women. And to target children and to murder the infants. This, and all of the other crimes. What brings those people here unless it's to help those crimes continue? And those people here, the Biden people, the UK people, the French people. Why? Why is this continuing? Because we're just a global destructive force. Our stance is to stop these military European American machines of destruction. And that's exactly what we are. From the aggression, war, and terrorism on Palestinians. And here, BBC doesn't deserve Victoria Derbyshire. Okay. Another. I mean, she's not the idiot. He is.
It is tragic and appalling that South Africa has decided to play advocate for the devil and serve as the legal arm of Hamas.
I'm going to pause you there, if I may, Mr. Levy, because almost every point I put to you or every question I ask you, you respond with an answer that is not relevant to the question.
Well, let me answer directly then. The
Please.
lawyer there who is serving as the legal representative of Hamas, accusing Israel of genocide, is presenting a topsy-turvy reality in which Hamas does not exist, it hasn't taken hostages, Israel decided one bright morning to start bombing Gaza. On October 7th, we suffered an act of genocide. We suffered an act of genocide when Hamas invaded our country and burned, beheaded, tortured, mutilated, raped, and abducted.
No, October 7 was not an act of genocide. It was an attack, for sure, and I'm not someone who I will denounce all violence, but when things get to a point where you try peacefully to free yourself from an occupying force, well, that occupying force that will not allow any kind of freedom, you're going to get violence. And that's what October 7 was. So, yeah, listening to this is so flippin' hard. I'm going to post the link. It was actually a good 4-minute. This BBC reporter actually shot back at this guy. You know, people are tired of this. Israel Minister of Communications says continuing the war to make life impossible for civilians and force them to leave Gaza is the best way. Really?
בהחלט צריך לעודד הגירה.
And just in case, you know, the subtitles are right below.
בהחלט צריך לעודד הגירה. כמה שפחות יהיה לחץ ברצועת עזה של גורמים שנכון, הם לא, אולי בלתי מעורבים עכשיו, אבל הם לא אוהבי ישראל ומחנכים את הילדים שלהם לטרור. הייתי רוצה, והיינו רוצים לראות, ודיברנו על זה בישיבות ממשלה. זה לא אגב, אין מדינות שרוצות לקלוט אותם, אף אחד לא רוצה, גם אם נשלם להם הרבה מאוד כסף. הגירה מרצון זה דבר חשוב, אין בו שום פגיעה בזכויות אדם, וגם המלחמה הזאת צריכה להימשך, וכשהיא נמשכת זה גורם...
אז למרות מה שאנחנו שומעים בו, אתה אומר, כן לעודד הגירה מרצון, כן זה הפתרון.
לעודד הגירה מרצון, וגם כופין אותו עד שיאמר רוצה אני.
איך?
Really? We should encourage voluntary migration. Is it voluntary migration when you're killing everybody? Okay, it's not that the world's people don't want Palestinians. Egypt didn't want to be forced into taking Palestinians in a way that would allow the Zionist government to literally just take over the entire Gaza and West Bank. All right, so, yeah, voluntary migration. And we should compel them until they say they want it. Keep compelling them by dropping bombs. Keep compelling them by shooting them with your IDF snipers. Keep compelling them by denying them water and food and electricity and fuel. This is unbelievable. And of course, yeah, United Nations news. Today, the situation in Gaza is unimaginably stressful. for children. We do not want to see children who survived the bombing to die because they are not vaccinated. Get in there, vaccinate them.
We are here receiving 600,000 doses of routine vaccination. Very, very critical for the life and the well-being of children. UNICEF and our partners are trying to do everything possible that we can do to protect and save the lives of the innocent children that have been already displaced by the ongoing war in Gaza. Today, the situation in Gaza is unimaginably stressful for children. We do not want to see children who survive the bombing to die because they're not vaccinated.
Wow. Well, you can't expect more from the United Nations. And while I don't have any, feelings of hate, I sure do have feelings of disgust, and I sure do feel repulsed by people who are deranged. And yes, this one.
Free speech is something that a lot of us have taken for granted throughout our lives. It is fundamental to our rights that we have as Americans. Unfortunately, we live in a time where free speech is under attack. Lifting up your voice in dissent or challenge or questioning or even having a dialogue and debate is not only discouraged, it can be cause for retaliation or cancellation or censorship. We must defend our right to free speech by using it. I'm excited to announce today a partnership with X, a platform that under the leadership of Elon Musk not only defends free speech, it is celebrated and encouraged. So I'm looking forward to launching some new projects with them where I'll tell the stories and tell the truth about what's happening here in our country and around the world, the truth that most often those in power don't want us to hear. I'll also be sharing a series of short films that lift up the voices of those who are most negatively impacted by the decisions of those in power, but whose voices aren't being heard. See you soon.
Oh, how fabulous, Tulsi. Yeah, you, with the genocidal maniacs and the IDF and the Zionist government, you stand right with them. And, it is absolutely amazing to me how many people I have seen since October 7, and I thought they were, fighting the good fight. No, something's very wrong with them. There's a split, between what I've heard previously and what I'm hearing now. And we have these events, it was like you saw so many awake people jumping on the Trump wagon when Trump came about. And I was like, whoa, check this out. And I posted many videos. I still haven't checked on Never Lose Truth if my Trump playlist is still there. Many videos. You're listening to a guy, but you're not watching what he's doing. Okay. And wow, did I lose subscribers. A whole lot of subscribers said, and people were saying things like, if you're not supporting Trump, then you're on the evil side. What? Okay. Well, Tulsi, you lost my respect completely. But really, is Elon Musk supporting free speech? Why are accounts critical of Israel being suspended? A whole lot. Going down. Glenn Greenwald, the account of Z Squirrel, was highly popular and polarizing. Its focus was on harshly criticizing U.S.-EU foreign policy That account survived the prior Twitter regime. Their recent focus has been criticizing Israel, and Ackman just got banned with no explanation, Elon Musk. This is a complete joke. The free speech that Elon Musk has brought us. Not so much. A whole lot of these videos, the weather modification, geoengineering, and Israel videos, a whole lot don't seem to want to play. Why is that? This is a new happening that I have only come across in like the last couple of days. Suddenly videos are not playing on Twitter. Not all videos, but a whole lot. I will link below to this interview with an Israeli politician who is backing the genocide investigation. No, not everyone is on the same page. Just like everybody else. You have your groups of people, and no, they might be the same religion, the same color of skin, ethnicity, nationality, it doesn't matter. Individuals. You look at the group and then you listen to the individuals and go, oh, wow, an independent thinker with a moral core. And this was a very good video, The Psychology of Israeli Propaganda, and I will link below to this. Really good video about the propaganda coming out of Israel. I'm just going to play a few minutes. Indy Nile, which I meant to subscribe to.
Behind me is an evacuation corridor that the IDF set up to enable the evacuation of civilians from the northern part of the Gaza Strip to the southern part of the Gaza Strip.
People in Gaza need to die.
Is that seriously what you think?
I am killed 2 people Palestinian.
I don't believe you did that.
I am in the army. Boom, 2 people.
We're making a maximum effort to try to safeguard Gaza's civilian population.
I don't care about Gaza. I literally don't care. For all I care, they can go out and swim in the sea. I want to see dead bodies of terrorists around Gaza.
Even though Israeli propaganda is laughably dystopian at this point, it still holds a lot of people captive, a lot of their minds captive, a lot of Israelis and Americans. And we're going to get into the psychology of why that is in this video with the help of an ex-Zionist who still lives in Israel. He's coming up a little bit later in the video. But despite the efforts of those behind Israeli...
Okay, so he goes through an awful lot of examples. Very good examples. And here, yeah, so the UK Foreign Commonwealth Office issues their Human Rights and Democracy report. Burn it. But could this be true, what this man says in the very beginning? That...
Guys, if you're from the UK, you really need to stop going on pro-Palestine marches every weekend because they're costing the government loads of money.
Imagine sitting there and saying that pro-Palestinian demonstrators in a democratic country should have to pay for their right to protest, because the reason that we're protesting is not just because we're anti-Semites or hate the state of Israel for no reason, like the government wants you to believe. The reason that we are out every weekend protesting is because this government doesn't support a ceasefire. They have sold Israel weapons. They still have massive deals with Israel to continue selling them weapons. There are many people from this country who go over to Israel and serve in the Israeli military. So do you honestly think that we are going to sit here and feel emotional that a government that has picked our pockets for years on end now is feeling the crunch of supporting a genocide? It's a case of play stupid games and win stupid prizes. If you continue to support Israel when the majority of this country knows exactly what Israel is like, we are going to be on the streets every single weekend until you change your position and actually help the people in Gaza. But also, I want you all to know that this isn't enough. The damage is already done. Over 20,000 people are already dead, and thousands more are buried under the rubble because of the actions and ineptitude of Western governments like ours.
Well, it's not ineptitude. Our governments want this. They want it. What is it? I have little one on my lap who is screaming. Stop the genocide. No more violence, right? And you're so filthy. He just came in, rolls in the dirt road, and all right, well, this is why you cannot separate out the United States and Americans.
فنحن أطفال غزة أغلب المجازر التي شنت فينا هي من الطائرات الأمريكية الغدارة. أمريكا قبل في الحروب التي قد مضت كانت تدعم إسرائيل بالسر، لكن اليوم دعمت إسرائيل بالعلن أمام مرأى العالم كله. وفي أم عينانا رأينا البضائع والذخائر الأمريكية وهي تدخل إلى إسرائيل، والطائرات الغدارة الحربية الأمريكية وهي تقصف منازلنا، وهي تشن الغارات الإسرائيلية على أطفالنا في قطاع غزة وفي غزة الحبيبة.
I'll read what this young boy is saying. We, the children of Gaza, most massacres that were carried out against us were carried out through treacherous American jets. In the previous wars, America was supporting Israel secretly, but today it supports Israel in public, before the eyes of the entire world. We saw that our own eyes, the American products and weapons entering Israel, and treacherous American warplanes bombing our houses, carrying out airstrikes on the children of Gaza, in our beloved Gaza. It's true. I will link below to this video, which is his story, Escaping Zionism, right here. Just a few minutes.
Many people have been asking me how come I grew up in a Zionist environment and eventually decolonized my mind and heart and became a staunch supporter of the full liberation of Palestinians on their land. And so I'm going to tell you this story while we're taking a little walk here with the trees and the birds. It's going to be a bit long, but I feel like it's very, very, very important that I'm going to voice my story here because it's important to what's going on right now.
It's important for those who are believers of Zionism to listen. The link is in the chat. And here, the greater Israel. It's not a conspiracy theory.
Our borders will extend from Lebanon, the Great Desert, which is Saudi Arabia, and then from the Mediterranean to the Euphrates. And who's on the other side of the Euphrates? The Kurds. And the Kurds are our friends. So we have the Mediterranean behind us, the Kurds in front of us, Lebanon, which really needs the umbrella of protection of Israel. And then we're going to take, I believe we're going to take Mecca, Medina, and Mount Sinai and purify those places. Eventually, our borders will.
So this is actually part of the evidence of genocidal intent. So, and there's so much more. I mean, Israeli forces break into a refugee camp in the West Bank and destroy roads and shops. it's ongoing, and I'm going to stop right here.
In the world.
I will be coming back live at 5. I appreciate all of you for hanging out with me in hell on earth, because that's what it feels like now, you know, and every individual has their own life experience. Currently, some are really experiencing a very difficult time. Some are still comfortable. But what is happening, we have to start really trying to figure out what the hell. Why are they showing us so much destruction, so much blood and gore, and the atrocities, and the IDF laughing at it, and because there's a reason for it. And I do think that one of the reasons, you know, I haven't shown you, because frankly, I think YouTube might give me a community guideline violation. You can go to my Twitter, Never Lose Truth, Twitter account, and you will see the horrific happenings in Gaza and the West Bank. And I do have to wonder if they're just trying to desensitize a whole lot of us to what we will be seeing and not care. Just not care. We're seeing an awful lot of not caring as it is. And I think we're going to be seeing an awful lot more. Hearts will grow cold. That doesn't mean that the Bible is giving you permission to have a heart that grows cold. But you need a lot of support around you to withstand what is taking place today. For those that don't have that support, I get it. Very difficult. Ciao, guys. See you at 5.